Good morning, St. Francis. It is April the 20th, 2021. It is Tuesday of the third week of Easter. It is the 17th day of Easter. Coming to you this morning once again from our memorial garden here at the church. But more importantly, because when you look at this beautiful sky, this beautiful blue Carolina sky this morning, it is a little bit cooler this morning, and so it is quite comfortable and nice. But the Carolina sky with its clouds and everything else like that makes a neat little backdrop for this morning's reflection. In the first reading, we have the continuation again of the saga of St. Stephen, who will be martyred in today's reading. But again, saying those words that Jesus says from the cross, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. Again, an echo, which means in some ways that those words must have had some truth reality of what Jesus spoke from the cross, at least to the community that is St. Luke, who is the author of the Acts of the Apostles. Stephen dies because he refuses to give up on Christ, because he refuses to give up on the message that Christ has given him to preach. And it costs him his life, but it then begins to shape the heart and the mind of one other person who is mentioned at the end of that passage in the first reading, Saul, who will eventually become Paul, the great missionary apostle, and the 13th of the apostles within our tradition. The gospel is John 6, which we have been in already, but now we begin, in one way, the great bread of life discourses, as they're called, which are really the significance of Jesus' body and blood according to the community of St. John. Again, in the gospel of St. John, there is no Last Supper, this is my body, this is my blood, there is feet washing, but where the understanding of receiving Jesus into ourselves as a bread that gives life and as food that will never cause us to thirst again, begins to be enunciated, begins to be hinted at in the 6th chapter of John. Again, the source of it, though, is, again, these people who wanted, their bellies filled again, because Jesus has fed 5,000 people, and they're hoping again for another nice lunch or a dinner or a snack or something like that. But Jesus says, again, and they point to manna. They point to the manna that the Israelites in the desert, in the book of Exodus, fed upon when there was nothing to eat and there was nothing to drink. So God sent them food to be able to sustain them. Jesus basically says, yes, and that was all good and well, and for a purpose, yes, it worked. But there is always something more than just our immediate needs. There is an expanding of our horizons, an expanding of what it is that we not only understand God to be and what God can do, but also understanding who and what we are as creations of this loving God. Expansion of horizons that move beyond sinfulness and brokenness and death and pain and suffering and anxieties and all those other kinds of things that we think are the only thing that makes us who and what we are as human beings in this world. And unfortunately, what many people think is only what Christians, especially Catholic Christians, are all about. Just the pain and suffering, just the Lenten understandings of things. We are not a people of Lent. We are never meant to be a people of Lent. We are a people of resurrection. We are a people whom God has worked wonders within. We are people whom God, through the resurrection of Jesus, has jerked the world onto new courses, new destinies, new futures, which again, sometimes we refuse to see because it all again seems too good to believe, too good to be true. And a steady diet of hundreds of years of being told we are terrible, awful people, who are nothing but sinners at heart, and et cetera, really destroys everything that God tries to do and everything that God demands be done, because Christ has risen from the dead. Easter, once again, is not a passing moment, within our season of Lentenness. Easter is the goal to which we all yearn, the goal to which we all strive, the goal towards which we all run. If we are not an Easter people, then faith is hopeless. If we are not an Easter people, then faith has no meaning. If we are not an Easter people, we can never witness to the world what the world needs to hear of hope, of kindness, of love, and of peace. A blessed Easter, St. Francis. May the Lord give you peace.